To the Diddy trial now. Why did Cassie Ventura stay with Sean Diddy Combs if he was abusive? That's the question prosecutors are hoping to answer for jurors right now. As psychologist Dawn Hughes takes the stand in Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering trial, Hughes testified that, quote, it's very common for victims to stay in abusive relationships because they feel trapped. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. His lawyers argue that any acts of assault show domestic violence, but not coercion or evidence of trafficking, the big charges there. Joining me now, former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani. So, Neama, thanks very much for being with us again on this. Expert witnesses aren't allowed to examine the defendant or alleged victims, I guess. So what are jurors going to make of this testimony, do you think?
Terry, this is an important witness because one of the biggest questions in the case, the question we are all asking and the jurors are asking too, if this was a coercive, violent relationship, why did Cassie stay in the relationship for so long? And it's really about the psychology of abuse, whether it's domestic violence or sexual assault. And this is where Dr. Dawn Hughes comes in. She's testified before in some very high-profile cases, the R. Kelly sex trafficking case for the prosecution, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case on behalf of Amber Heard. That didn't go well for Miss Heard. And she's going to testify in the Harvey Weinstein case. So this is someone who has a lot of experience, and she's telling the jurors about trauma bonding and why victims don't report their abuse to law enforcement or even tell their friends and family, and why they may stay in a relationship for years, in this case more than a decade, when they are controlled by their abuser. And we know, based on the testimony, that Combs had significant control over Cassie, her finances, her apartment, her car, even her appearance. So I think this is good testimony for the government.
Got it. And then also we heard from a federal agent today involved in the raid of Combs' home in Miami. He testified about the so-called freak-off supplies and guns that were found on the property. So first, prosecutors using that term? And second, how does it help them, obviously?
Well, the prosecutors really want to use this term because they are alleging that these freak-offs were anything but freaky. They were not consensual. So now you have the agents who jurors tend to like. You have HSI agents from the Department of Homeland Security, and they're talking about the raid that was conducted on Combs' Miami home. We already heard from an agent about the raid that was conducted from his New York hotel, and they're showing jurors parts of AR-15s. Lots of drugs. We're seeing the pink cocaine or 2C there. And the jurors are actually able to handle these drugs, obviously in evidence bags, they're safe. But this goes to show that force element of sex trafficking and obviously the copious drug use that resulted in the coercion.
Got it. And those are definitely the big charges there, Neama Rahmani. As always, thanks very much.
Thanks, Terry. Talk.
Make sure to catch our daily show on this trial. It's called Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy. And it airs nightly at 5:30 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live. Don't miss it.